advice. Speaking of accounting and books, Chelsea are going after Garnacho. Arsenal are chasing the Isak deal. How big a needle mover do you think these are going to be in terms of the title race next year, gents?
Garnacho, no.
Yeah, I was going to say, the Chelsea Garnacho deal, I don't think it has any impact on the title race or even the Chelsea race, because I reckon he's going to be a bit part player at Chelsea once he eventually goes there. We already know how many players they got on their wings. He's just going to be one of a few. But Arsenal, and you say Eze chasing the Eze deal.
Eze, I might have said Isak by mistake, but yeah, Eze.
The Eze deal. Eze would be a game changer, man. Like, watching that game where they played against us last week, I took from it, the biggest takeaways for me is there's been no change between Arsenal last season to Arsenal now. You'd think there'd be some type of evolution with their team, just slight intricacies of the way that they're playing now. I saw the report come out the other day from like a Gunner blog to say, Arteta's been working on more direct style of play, blah, blah, blah. And Gyökeres wasn't on the pitch, so we didn't get to see that. But you'd still expect that the team's going to try and reflect that way of playing, even with him off the pitch. But from what I've seen is they need Eze. Like, they need Eze or a player like him badly, because off the left wing, they've got no one. Madueke remains to be seen whether he'll be able to offer anything off there, but definitely Martinelli's finished. I can't understand why they've not looked to move Martinelli on. The biggest problem Arsenal, and to be fair, my club and Man United have had at times, is not moving players on at the right time. If Arsenal want to operate like Chelsea, even Liverpool have been recently, getting rid of these players when, you realize they're not going to become the one that you think they are. So they should have got rid of him, replacing him with the likes of Eze to even fund that deal. And you have Eze, who's going to be an option to become in the middle, take over Odegaard's position, because I think Odegaard recycling the ball far too often. He's taken a few more shots, but his shooting from the edge of the box just isn't that good. So you've got a player like Eze who's a bit more direct, who's a bit more of a maverick, runs down the middle, and that is it. Just playing the ball through the middle, direct, a bit more down that, because they always playing it out on the channels on the wing, trying to work it with Saka, trying to do the 1-2s and crossing in the box. Just need somebody who's going to take the game by the scruff of the neck sometimes and carry that ball through the middle. And I think Eze is the player that they're missing, honestly. So if they do get Eze, that would be a complete difference into the title race for Arsenal, definitely.
Yeah, I think the thing is, I think you were talking about it at the start of the stream, Terry. Like, you can't really look too much into preseason, especially when you bring in so many players that could change how you play. Like, Gyökeres obviously got a few minutes. Zubimendi's only after coming in. Madueke. There's player, and I think they might, if say they get in Eze, there's not going to be too much of a difference in terms of how they play in the first couple of games of preseason, where these players are trying to find their feet and stuff, than they will maybe, say, 10 games into the season. We might see a little bit more. There's a bigger data sample. You'll be able to understand what impact they're having on the team. I think, like, looking at it for a game against Spurs where Gyökeres plays 15 minutes and gets one touch, we're not going to see too much of how they want to play with him. So, yeah, I think to go back to Arsenal, my kind of big thing with Arsenal is last season, I don't think any player reached over 10 goals. I think Havertz was top of their goal scoring charts with 9. So that's the issue that they need to resolve. Their goals that they weren't creating as many chances. So if they want to push on this year, they need to get back to that kind of level of creativity. I think Odegaard as well was a big issue last season. When he came back from his injury, he wasn't able to consistently perform at the level that he had done the year before. So even if he kind of raises his level to, say, 10 goals, Eze comes in, maybe gets like 8 or 9, then you have like Gyökeres, if he gets 15, Madueke maybe chips in with 6, and then you have Saka, obviously continues to stay fit and maybe gets like another 12 to 15. I don't think Gyökeres is going to get the same number of goals because he's not going to be on penalties with Saka there. I think Saka will continue to take penalties, so I think that might take away his number.
15 goals is even acceptable for Gyökeres? Because
many goals? 10.
15. Do you think 15 is acceptable? Do you not think he needs to get 20?
No, I think if it was 15 Premier League goals and it was spread out between the team, I think 20 goals in the Premier League in his first season. I think the thing is with Gyökeres, people are looking at him and saying he's going to come in and be like a Haaland, and I don't think he will be like that. I think that's the expectation that they have on him. It's just because that's just what he should be. But they're two different types of players, and I think they play in different ways. Like, Haaland's definitely more of a kind of box striker, whereas Gyökeres loves to play the channels. Do you know what I mean? He'll drift out to the left. Like, Haaland won't do that. And I think with Saka in there, I think he's a main creator. Odegaard maybe chip in. I think Arsenal will be more of a team that will have like goals from everywhere. That's how they'll be successful if they can get that right. And I think 15. I think if he got 15 Premier League goals, and I think that would be like a 15 to 20 Premier League goals. I think that would be good. Maybe like, I don't know, 25 GA to 30 GA, 25 to 30 GA across all comps. I think that would be acceptable in terms of the money that he's come in for, and the expectation that it would have on him. I just think it's other areas that Arsenal need to make sure that they're right in. Martinelli, I think left wing is definitely an issue. But I think with Saka, like Saka was out for 3 months. I think if he's fit for a full season, similar to like Salah when he's fit for a full season, like Liverpool didn't have Salah for 3 months last season, then it would have looked entirely different. So I think Saka is a big player for them. And then if Odegaard can kind of find some of his form, then just some areas that they have to find. But it'll be interesting. I think there's a lot of change with Arsenal. Partey obviously going now. Zubimendi, they're two different types of players. What way will he obviously fit into the team? Will they try and play a different way? Because he's not like, they don't have that destroyer in midfield now. Do you know what I mean? I even know Partey is very good on the ball. He's very underrated on the ball. But it'd be interesting to see what way Zubimendi kind of picks up the pace when he does get on the ball, and how they kind of find players like Odegaard, Rice, Eze, if he comes in, like what way they function with that around him.
Yeah, it's going to be intriguing. I think pre-season, a little bit like with United, I think for Arsenal, there's been so much more read into what Arsenal are doing than other teams, if I'm being honest. And I get it. At the same time, I think there's a bit of overanalyzing, especially, we had Staffy on the other day that was ripping into it. This is what's going to happen next season. And in the end, I've only watched one of their 4 pre-season games. And it's like, how much of this are people actually watching? But no, I think they've got to adapt. They've got to change. And I think it's the right message to be pushing out. And I get some gooners will see that as PR. But if you've watched their pre-season, they'll definitely be trying new things. I mean, that's that against Spurs in that first half. They were knocking that ball long over your high line. And I did look.
There was.
Yeah, exactly. And I think they've got to do that a little bit more. And I don't think it's necessarily about long ball work. So, I mean, Liverpool, as great as some of your football has been in the last 7-8 years, the long ball over the top to Salah has probably got you 100 goals in all comps, if not more. Like the amount of times you knock that ball long into the channel, Salah picks it up, either goes on to score or brings somebody else into play. Like teams like Arsenal have got to learn that you don't just have to score by passing it 70 times and doing 1-2s on the edge of the box. You can just pick it up and the centre back can knock it long into a channel. United will do that this year as well. With at times in the right games, we'll do that. And we didn't actually get a chance against Everton last night because I mean we had a lot more of the ball than people are making out. We did. I think we had 60% of the ball, but they sat back and were really hard to beat. But when we break down, but when we played West Ham, and we played Bournemouth, we didn't have Cunha or Mbeumo for the Bournemouth game. But the amount of times we were able to knock that ball into space, and I was watching it going, see, again, there's going to be 10 games like that this season where those players will exploit it. And that's why I think it's why I like what Chelsea are doing as well, to be fair. Same with Liverpool. It's about having multiple strings. It's a case of today, we know this team's going to have a high line. Today, what we need is, what we need is going to be Mbeumo and Cunha and, I don't know, Bruno as the front three, because we just want to use the two as split nines to run those channels, because we know that we're going to get a lot of long balls over the top. There could be a week where we say, actually, we need the number 9 in now, and we want Bruno and we want Cunha, because we know there's going to be a lot more intricate play, and we're going to bring and Mbeumo is going to come on later in the game, maybe against tired legs. Arsenal need to do the same. Chelsea are doing it as well, where not every team is going to play against you in the same way, and you need different tools, you need different players. Liverpool, it's making me feel sick looking at what you've got at your disposal next year. There's going to be pace, trickery, creators, goal scorers. There's so many different combinations around what Liverpool can pick, and it's key. And one thing that Arteta has got to learn this season, and you can see they're testing things to see what he does in reality, but you can't just play the same way every match. Some weeks you've got to be more direct. Sometimes you're going to have to, look after the ball more. There are other times where you can give the ball up and just knock that ball into a channel for Gyökeres to run onto, because he has. I know there's all the jokes that he's fat and he wears Timberlands, but the man is quick and he's powerful, and they've got to utilize that. So, yeah, it's going to be. I'm excited, man. Less than 2 weeks at the start of this season. I can't wait. I can't even lie.
I'll be at the Community Shield, so I'll get to see all the ballers from that match. I can't wait for that.
What are you guys doing? You got 2 friendlies tonight, haven't you, Liverpool?
Yeah, so they do it every year. Most years. I think the last time they did it was 2022. But basically we go out with like our first team, and they'll get like say a good run out of like say 60, 70 minutes. And then the second team will kind of play 60, 70 minutes, and some of them might play like twice, depending on if they are. But I think the first game is at 5 o'clock UK time, and then the next one is at 8 o'clock UK time. So yeah, it's just a bit of a more of a run out.
Doing that this preseason, I've seen a lot of teams. We've done that as well. I see Crystal Palace done that like last week as well. They done 2 games against Augsburg. It seems to be something that's happening quite a lot.
Yeah.
Makes sense actually, because it's one trip, one coach ride, rather than 2 different games. It's the expense of 2 games probably, like as well, covering police, stewards, everything. Do you know what I mean? If you just do it one day, same place, it probably keeps the cost down a bit as well. So makes quite a bit of sense. What is this? Oh, he sounds a new deal. I tell you, one of the weirdest deals this summer is Granite Xhaka going to Sunderland. I don't understand it.
Sunderland have got some really good picks. I can't even lie. Like when I'm looking at their signings, I've looked at them. I'm like, okay, they're actually making some really smart signings to try and keep them up in the Premier League. Some experienced players, some young players, some Premier League experience, but also some like Liga on. They've got some top young players coming in as well. So I can't lie. Sunderland's the team for me out of the bottom 3. They're the one for me that's just going to stay up right now. And
they were in. I know they were in for Petrovic as well, but he ended up going to Bournemouth for 25 million. Like if they had got him over the line, that would have been huge, because like he's a good Premier League goalkeeper. I think he's probably Chelsea's best keeper right now when they let him go.
I tell you what, the Northeast Derby, man, Sunderland versus Newcastle, we've been starved of that. That's such a great derby, and that's why I'm kind of glad that Sunderland are spending and doing well. I actually haven't watched. I only watched season 1 of Sunderland Till I Die. I'm probably going to go catch up on that before the season starts, and just because obviously I know it's a little bit old now, but it gives you this is the irony as well. If you ever want to see a club in terms of rebuilds and getting back to the top, you got to kind of. It's funny when you start watching these shows, you suddenly start to see a sort of this view of like, oh wow, it does take a really long time to get back to the top. Was there? It was 3 seasons of that actually. I don't know when the last one came out actually. When did the last one come out? Oh, actually not. Yeah, what last one actually came out in 2024. So yeah, spread over a nice. Yeah, started in 2018. It's such an interesting thing to watch in terms of like them getting themselves sort of back to sort of trying to get themselves back to the top of their game. Interesting. You watched the Birmingham one that's come out with Tom Brady.
No. I saw like I've seen the clips. Yeah, when he tried to say about Rooney, that didn't sit right with me. It did not sit right with me.
Yeah, something about that didn't sit right with me. But then again, now I'm seeing more people. I've only watched the first episode, and now I'm seeing a lot of people reviewing it. They're saying, "Isn't it mad that these guys came in and ever since they started making decisions, the club just absolutely collapsed and fell apart." At the same time, again, it's one of those things where sometimes you do go backwards before you go forward because you have to cut parts of yourself off. And most clubs that you see that are now doing well, when you go back to the sort of the catalyst and the origin point of their change, it's never just bad and then really good. Even when you look at Newcastle, it was like got better, got worse. Like it will just do this over time. FSG with Liverpool, you've had ups and downs that whole way to be where you are now. Even with City, with that great run they had when Pep came in, it still took them a number of years to kind of get to that point. Chelsea are going through it. One day Spurs will get to the top. Do you know what I mean? And get back there. And yeah, it's nice, man. But my club, we had a chance to do one of these shows and we fucking turned it down. I'm kind of gutted by that.